This is probably a bad idea. I don't know how many times I've started stories that way.
Garage Brewer Adventures.
Alright, I've arrived at the trailhead. It's 38 degrees. It's supposed to get up to 40s, and down to 20 degrees overnight. I'm packed for 20 degrees for hammocking. Let's see, I just need to change out of my flip-flops into some real shoes, hiking shoes. I'm going to weigh my pack. It was 21 pounds before I put in luxury items. I'm sure it's much higher now. I think that's it. See you on the trail. So this is the trail I'm on. We're at Elk City Lake, starting our hike here. The trail follows the lake just along the way, and it connects over to where the river, the actual Elk River, is what feeds into the Elk City Lake. I'm planning on camping right about 7 miles. I want to sign the logbook. There's no room in that logbook. Not writing anything. I was out here one time when the river was flowing. It was so high, this bridge had been knocked off. All right. So this just goes up and up and up. For anyone who knows this trail, there's a one particular obstacle at about 1 mile in where you have to climb down through this crack. And the Boy Scout troop I went with, we named it Fat Man's Crack. And it's very appropriate because if you're a fat man, you're gonna have trouble here. So I'm gonna try to film myself going through this. It's just like a really bad ladder. I'm pretty sure the 1 mile mark is still missing. This trail does have mile markers. But the 1 mile has been missing for a while, and oh no, it's right there. I spoke too soon. All right, well, let's go look at it. This first mile is hard work. This section's pretty wild. It's steeper than it looks. Best way to go is this way. One time, I was going through this very section, and I hear this thump behind me, like a rock fell and hit the trail behind me. It was a thump on the mud. And I turn around and look, and I see something slither off, and it's a snake. It's kind of a long, thin black snake, and it crawls up into the tree. I've got some footage of it. I'll insert it if I can find it. Anyway, what I think happened is I think the snake was in the tree waiting for something it wanted to, some prey it wanted to catch and drop. I think it drops down on him and catches him, and here it is dropping. I hope it just dropped because it was scared of me and not trying to like catch me, but who knows? We looked each other eye to eye for a few minutes. Oh wow, the lake's down pretty far. That's crazy. So Dolores Baker, I should have refreshed my memory on this before I got here. She was an early champion of this trail and used to really promote it, and she would kind of lead people in here, show them different access points. I believe they came in on horse. I think it was originally a horse trail. So I don't know when this bench was put in her honor, but it's been here ever since I've been coming here. There used to be wind chimes, but they're gone. So anyway, I think I'm gonna sit on this bench and eat some lunch. Just behind this bench, there's a couple of campsites. That's had a lot of fires. That's an old ash pile. New campfire ring. It's just amazing how far the water has receded. Just a few years ago we had floods and the water pushed, all the way. Now we have grasses growing down there, but you can see all these dead trees. They go all the way up. They go all the way up to right where I'm standing. They go on up. I'm up pretty far up from where that water is right now. Mile mark. I almost walked right by it. So back just a little bit ago, I showed a road where there was a red truck. It was too windy to talk. That road is about 3.5 miles in to the trail, and it's pretty accessible. I think you could bring most any car in up to a certain point. And there's 2 or 3 or 4 maybe campsites there. So if you wanted to come in and car camp or start a hike from here, maybe you're section hiking this trail or something like that, that's a way to do it. There is a point though where the road gets too rough, and you would need at least a truck, and then it gets worse and worse. There's the kind of, you can drive all the way down to the lake, and if you want to do that, you'd probably need an off-road vehicle of some sort. I don't know if let me get a shot here. It's all cracked and dry down there. It's just so dry. I'm just a little concerned because the area where I'm planning to camp is kind of one of these little inlet areas where there should be water, but I'm wondering how far the water's receded or if I'll even be able to get to it. I mean, I guess it's all kind of connected. We'll see what happens, but man, I just didn't expect the water to be so low. There. There's a campsite right here. I stayed here once. When it was 60 degrees when I arrived, and then a front came through at 8 o'clock and it dropped to freezing, and I woke up, it was 20 degrees, and that was the high for the day. And it was snowing. It was an awesome trip. Back to hiking. Cacti. Oh. Deer tracks. Got a rocky little walk down to this next water inlet. Another one of these water inlets. That's all this trail does is you kind of go up up and down these inlets, up the cliffs, down the cliffs. Pretty cool up there. Often under this tree a little pool of water will accumulate if it's rained recently. Even if things are dry, that will hold for a little while. And not much to look at here, but I'm going up that. Recognize this. This campsite means we're at mile marker number 5. So from the 5 mile mark, it starts to climb to, I think, to the highest point of the trail, and there's some views. And we're starting to move away from the lake and more towards the river. I was able to look ahead. I see water further down, so I'm going to keep going. I'm less concerned about running out of water. Making good time. It's 5 miles, 2.5 hours, so 2 miles an hour, and that's with stopping to record and do stuff, eat lunch, things like that. So I feel good about this. I guess that's it. I'm gonna dig a snack out and keep going. All right, that's straight down. There's the river. And way over there's the lake. There's a cool campsite I think I'll be able to see from here, so see if I can spot it. And we're almost up at the 6 mile mark. The 6 mile mark's just on the other side. Oh yeah, I see it. Right there is the campsite. The 6 mile mark's just on the other side where you start to head up. All right, mile marker 6 coming next. Pretty cool cliffs here. Okay. This little inlet is dry. It's usually got water in it, but the river's over there. This is kind of coming up on a favorite campsite of mine. Just follows these cliffs. And there's a little campsite tucked in at the top. There's the trail. So I'll show you that. If you don't mind carrying your water in, that would be a good place. I almost decided to camp there tonight. But I didn't want to carry my water in. So here's some more of these cliffs. The trail just goes right, right up to the edge of it. Oh, actually, that campsite's right here. All right. There's this kind of big rock face, and then it's kind of tucked back behind these trees. Ooh, that's gotten bigger. I've hammocked between that tree and that tree, which is right by the fire. You can sit in your hammock and kind of, I don't know, just imagine I'm sitting in my hammock just right here facing the fire. You can put a tent over there. There's also some trails that just kind of head to the back if you want to use the restroom back there or whatever. I'll show you some more of these cliffs because this goes for just a little bit. A little too far to jump to. It'd be fun to camp over there. Oh, hey, there's water down there. Crazy. Well, that's interesting. I could totally drink that. If the water where I'm going is hard to get to, I might come back here. Okay, pretty close to the 7-mile mark. There's another one of these ravines. This one's much steeper. I don't know if you could tell, but the trail is all screwed up here. I gotta get past this. Like, do I go around? Yeah. If I go around, I gotta climb down, I think. Yeah. Well, it's not that bad, I guess. Let's see if I can do it with my phone here. All right. Yeah, easier than I thought. I like this spot. It's pretty. Now I'm at the top. Mainly just looking for water. That's the inlet I expected to get my water from, and it's totally dry. So we gotta go see how close we are to the river. 7-mile marker is coming up. There's mile marker 7. It's interesting. I really expected water to be here. As I was hiking in and seeing how low the water was, I've been talking about being worried about it. So, funny, it's actually really pretty over there, except I want to see water. So, by dumb luck, I saw that puddle, and it's a big puddle, so it's enough water for me for tonight. So I'm going back there. It's only half a mile back. I guess that'll make my trip tomorrow a little shorter. Well, I didn't get it on camera, but I saw a critter running off. I suspect I'm not the only one that knows about this water. Where to camp? Okay, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna collect water here. I'm gonna go back to that cliff campsite that I really like. It'll be good for recording video and stuff anyway, and it's pretty good views. So I'm gonna collect some water and hike back. It's maybe quarter to a half a mile. I'm not sure. This is the water filtration system I'm gonna bring. Whenever it's above freezing, I prefer to filter my water. So here's what I've got. This is a 3-liter CNOC bag for gathering water. This is my water filter. Water filters, you have a dirty end and a clean end. This cap, whenever I take it off, I put it into a Ziploc bag so I can keep it clean. And same for this part. I'll show how this works when I'm using it. It's just a quick disconnect for my water bottle to connect to that water bag. A little string to hang my water bag. I do a gravity filter kind of setup. And then I've got 8 little chlorine tablets just in case my filter fails, and that's what I have to use. And all of that fits into my little water bag. These are my water bottles I'm gonna use. Whenever I bring my gravity filter, I use these because they compress, which helps with how it works. So this is what it looks like when you've squeezed it down. This part is still hard, also the bottom. So that, and this is what it looks like full, and these stand because of the firm bottom. They'll stand up when they're full of water. And they're well used. They've turned kind of a greenish color over the years. You've already seen it, but this is gonna be home for the night. All right, I gotta charge this phone. I keep my first aid kit in a front easy access pocket. In addition to that, I also have a little bit of rope, pocket knife, and I keep my thermometer on the outside of my pack. I love this thermometer. It records the overnight low. I always like to know what the low is overnight so that I can decide if I need to change anything about my sleep system or my layers or whatever. If I find that I'm cold on a trip, I like to know what that number was. Whenever I go backpacking, this is the first aid kit that I like to take. It's a very minimalist first aid kit. First aid kits are kind of the one time where you're sort of packing your fears on purpose. You know, just something could happen. You could hurt yourself, and you gotta kind of think about what you need to bring, but you still don't want to weigh yourself down. I have found over the years that all I ever really need is a Band-Aid. So I have a couple of Band-Aids. I'm gonna be doing a weekend trip. Usually 2 Band-Aids will cover it. I have a couple of larger pads in case I get a bigger scratch or injury. And I have some Leuko tape, which can be used for blisters and also can be used to make a bandage. Aside from that, I've got nail clippers and a safety pin. Safety pins usually for pulling out splinters. And then various pills. I always bring plenty of vitamin I or ibuprofen. I don't like to take a lot of medicines, but that's one thing I'll take if I'm hurting pretty bad on the trail, especially I've got a trick knee that sometimes causes me trouble. Antihistamines and anti-diarrheal. I did have one trip where I really wished I had that, and I've carried those with me ever since. So that's it, and all of that fits into a little Ziploc bag. For sleeping, my sleep system is a hammock and the suspension. Everything's in there that I need. The tarp, I'm not expecting rain. I'll still bring the tarp just in case to help with wind. There is a chance of rain, so I might as well have it. In addition to that, I will separately show my quilt and my underquilt. Here's my line. I did a time-lapse setting it up, but I've added a bunch of things. So we have my hat, which is actually holding another warm hat for me, and some gloves. Got my water kit, water filtration, cook kit, food bag. I'm hanging some clothes back here on the back line, my fleece mid-layer and my warm socks for sleeping in, toiletries. I found this. This was, I guess, trash, but it's like a little bungee line that you can extend out of this little pouch, and then it all folds up in there. So I guess I'll take that out of here. And I got my thermometer, currently, come on, focus, 43 degrees. Hanging a water bottle here. The rest of the stuff's on the ground. Luxury items, trash, toilet wipes, and poop shovel. And my pack's hanging on the tree, and I still have, I can't see if there's clothes in there. This just has 4 stakes that go out. This is a homemade system. I put bungees on here that tensions it so it can kind of move around a little bit. Go inside here, and then there's the hammock. And I just hang my stake bag. I'm just gonna slide it down here, but I hang my stake bag on the ridge line so I know where it is. Let's see, I've shown this before, but there's a, come on, focus, Dutch clip. I'm using a Marlin spike hitch and a toggle. And this is a Dutch beaner that connects to a UCR. A UCR is a utility constricting rope, I think. It's a piece of AM steel. It's a braided line that has another braided line going inside of it, and it just through friction holds it together. And then at the other end, the line, here's the line coming out of the other end. And so I have this, I can pull this and it'll tighten up. It'll pull the hammock line tighter. I can raise one end or the other, or I can lower it. It's similar to whoopee slings. The only difference is whoopee slings have a loop. This is just 2 straight lines. Due to the proximity to the fire, I might pull that back just for the evening. I can just slide the loops off the stakes and maybe pull it out of the way until it's time to go to bed. It's my quilt, foot box, It also has this funny feature. You can put your hands in the little pockets, and there's a little face hole. I think this end's a little higher, so that's my foot end. This is my underquilt. I've never used this before. This is what I'm testing this weekend. This is a birthday present from my wife. So thank you, Amanda. My birthday's in July, and I got a 20-degree underquilt in July. I really didn't need it until the winter time, so this is the first time I'm getting to use it all year, and it's it's November now, so end of November. So I'm gonna try it out, see how it works. It's a 20-degree underquilt, and it's supposed to get down to 27 now is the current forecast. This is just connected with two carabiners and a bungee shock cord. There it is. Okay, I'm going to show you how I do water filtration. Water filtration takes a long time, so I don't usually, if I'm going to need water on the trail, I don't usually use this method. This is better if you're going to do your water at camp. So I have this quick disconnect valve I keep in the Ziploc bag to keep it clean, and then there's this clean end of the filter, so I open that and then screw this quick disconnect that I made. This is just a hose connection, a water bottle connection with a hose clamp connected to a quick disconnect that I got from a water bladder that just has a button, and you can separate these two parts. When you separate it, it cuts off the water flow. And then same thing on the other end, a hose clamp and another water bottle threaded end piece. I'm going to take my cap to keep it clean, just put it in the Ziploc bag and put that back in my water bag. So now I'd have to kind of carefully point this up. I might lose a little water here, but there we go. Thread it on. These filters only work when they're wet. It's a reverse osmosis filter, so sometimes it's hard to get it started. The best thing to do is either squeeze the bag until it starts to flow out the bottom, or you can suck on the end if you have like a mouthpiece. I don't have that, so I'm just gonna squeeze it, see if I can get it. No, actually, I'm gonna get a water bottle first. So, all right, so now I'm just gonna screw this water bottle on and let gravity do its work. It takes a little while. I'll show you a little bit later when it's going. I collected some firewood. This is probably not enough if it gets pretty cold, which it's supposed to. There's just been this constant breeze. Not constant. There's been a periodic breeze that just blows through and takes all your heat away. It's like really icy. What is the temperature? 40, 41. By the way, this thing will not, I have to keep that filter above freezing, so I need to get my water filtered before it gets too cold. After that, I'll have to put the filter in my pocket or keep it kind of by the campfire. Just starting to fill that bottle. Try to make some dinner. This is my cook kit. I've got a pot that has a little bit of a spout. I use this for pouring, and it helps with making pour-overs for coffee. Smells good. I insist on having coffee on my trips as often as I can. Real coffee. This is my coffee cup. These are both titanium and they fit perfectly together. Fire starter, I'll toss that by the fire. This is my alcohol stove. I'll show how this works when I use it. You just fill it with alcohol and it makes flames on the outside. 1 cup, 240 milliliters. Okay. Don't have a measuring cup. I have to guess. This is the alcohol, which I keep one of these little like medicine measuring cups. About one of these for about every cup of water you need to boil is about the right amount. A rule of thumb, it kind of depends on conditions. The fuel is alcohol. This is a denatured alcohol. You can buy it at a hardware store, Walmart, places like that. These are fire starters that I make. I'll show you a video of that. Easiest way to light it is just to put a stick in there to get the fuel. Light the stick. Little lighter, little one of the mini Bics. Yeah, that's everything that fits in there. And then the lid. The flame's hard to see. You can see it in the dark. It's a blue flame in the dark, but in the daytime it's almost invisible. And you have to wait for the stove to prime. It takes about a minute. And when it primes, the flames will come out the outside. Oh, there it goes. So this thing goes like that. Flips like that and like that. And makes a little pour over cone. You put a paper filter in it and make coffee. And just wait. It's just about sunset. Trail a little bit. Some weird stuff in here. Smells good. Time to start the fire. Just showing you a set of couple bigger logs to give us some space, and then I made kind of a crosshatch of little sticks across the top. There's a little opening there. I'll take my fire starter, which is made out of wax and egg carton and cotton ball. And I'll light it and slide it under there. These take a minute to light, and it's best if you light the cardboard. For my homemade fire starters, I use an egg carton. You're going to need a trusty assistant. This is my dog Maggie. So you take the egg carton, and what I usually do is cut it in half so that you have the part that holds the eggs and then the top, and then you set them inside of each other so that when the wax drips through, it'll catch in the lid. And I just put a large cotton ball in every egg carton slot, and then I just start to I melt some wax. So for that you need a candle warmer and some sort of container holding your wax. These are soy wax beads I buy in bulk, and just a spoon to stir it. And it takes a little while. You get it kind of started, and you want to stir it just to keep kind of the liquid part on the bottom, and just keep mixing it around to get the solid chunks melted down. And it takes some time, but eventually it'll start to clarify and get close to ready to pour. And then when the whole thing is set and you let it sit overnight, just cut the individual eggshell parts out and throw away the rest or recycle it. We have fire. Well, I'm having trouble with my filter. It's been about an hour and I barely have any water. It is filtering, but it's really, really slow. I always clean my filter and I back flush it and I dry it out. So I've never had, I've had trouble with this before where it takes a long time to get started, but it usually, once it does, it gets going. So anyway, now I'm not so sure I couldn't recommend this setup. If I can't get it going, I'm going to have to switch to tablets, and that water's pretty gross. I could try back flushing it with my clean water, but then I'm wasting my clean water on something I don't know if it'll work. Camera just won't focus on it. Oh, there it is. All right. Time to try Indian red lentil stew from Nomad Nutrition. Potatoes, carrots, onions, split peas, red lentils, coconut milk, olive oil, sun-dried tomatoes, garlic, curry powder, spices, sea salt. That's it. It's all real food. I don't know what the big things in here are. They must be the potatoes. There's these really long pieces. Smells good. Trying to get one of those potatoes. There. It's good. I think the potatoes need a couple more minutes. They're just a little chewy. Yeah, I'll probably wait 5 minutes. Tastes good though. It's really good flavor. Can't wait to finish it. I don't usually carry a saw, so I rely on the fire to cut my wood. So So this is called a fire saw. It's the lightest saw you can bring with you. Well, I gave up on the filter. The temperature is getting low, in the mid-30s now, so I didn't want to have to worry about it freezing, although I don't know if I care if the filter doesn't work anymore. I don't know why it's clogged. I keep it pretty clean, so it could be mineral buildup. Maybe it needs to be soaked in some vinegar or something, but I even do that occasionally, so I'm surprised that it didn't work. So I've replaced the filter with a I'm using the same quick disconnect system, but inside of the threading of that top part, I put a little piece of sacrificial bandana. I cut a corner of my bandana out and folded it over. It's basically a 4-layer folded piece of bandana. It's smashed in there. And it filled the bottle pretty quick. So that's, of course, not safe to drink, but I can put my chlorine tablets in it. I'm just going to leave it connected until I actually need a water bottle, because this won't leak if I leave it like this. So I'll show you what it's like to use the quick disconnect when I get around to doing that. Coffee. I think this one's Eastern Rift. It's good. Cheers. I'm going to show you how this quick disconnect system works. Normally there would be a filter right here. So instead of a real filter, I've got a bandana paper filter right there. What you do is there's a button, you pop it, and it does the quick disconnect. And then you remove the top from the water bottle. Carefully set it down, don't let it spill. All right, then this goes on the next bottle. Screw it on. It's best if you squeeze out as much air as you can, just snap it in, and then it will start to fill. And then just close your other bottle. Since I don't have a filter on here, I mean, other than the bandana, I'm going to put chlorine tablets in, and I'll show you that next. Okay. So these tablets they're chlorine, and you need to make sure your hands are dry, or what some people do is they'll slide their knife under it and lift it up and put it in that way so they don't have to touch it. If your hands are wet, it'll burn you. Chemical burn. And 30 minutes should do it. So close that up. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your booty. Shake your booty. Sorry. I just love these booties. These are synthetic. They make down ones, but they're a tough rubber on the bottom, so you can walk on the trail, and they're just really durable and super warm. So I've put on my night socks, my night wool socks, smart wool socks, and these booties. Decisions. Every trip you have to make them. Seems like. I have just been presented with one that I don't know what to do. My wife called and said that her dad, my father-in-law, is going to the hospital and she wants me to come home. Kind of explain, I'm 6.5 miles in, so that's 3 hours plus probably in the dark hiking. It's 34 degrees and falling, so it'll be freezing. I don't mind hiking in freezing temperatures, but I've got this big fire I'd have to do something with. I've got to tear down camp, and it's 9 o'clock. Let's say 3 hours to the car, 2 hours home, 5 hours from now. 9 plus 5 is 14. That'd be 2 in the morning, not counting the time to tear down camp. So 3 maybe, 3:30. I mainly just sort of wish I knew if my headlamp would make it 3 hours. Maybe on the low setting. I know the trail pretty well, so I don't think I'd get lost. I'm also half drunk. I guess the hike could sober me up if I do it. Yeah, what to do. I mean, the risk is I hurt myself. I hurt myself doing this. This is probably a bad idea. I'm going to do it. I'm going to try to get out of here. I'm going to pack up, drive home, go be with my wife. I mean, I have mixed feelings about it, but I kind of think it'd be a fun challenge, and I want to be by her side. So, fuck it. I'm going. Got my sleep system in the pack. Just got to take down my gear line and the water. Getting pretty close, but I'm also getting pretty cold, so I had to warm up by the fire. Get my fingers warmed up again. I know once I get moving, I'll warm up, but it's pretty cold. Is this the craziest thing I've ever done? Not sure. Video 1's probably the craziest thing I've ever done. I'm hitting the trail. 6.5 miles in the dark. Here we go. I just want to say I'm making pretty good speed because the moon's almost a full moon, so I can see the trail. I haven't even hardly had to use my headlamp except if I'm deep in the trees. So this is going pretty quick. I'm already at 5 miles. 5 miles to the car. Well, probably 4.5 now. The trail suddenly got really hard to see. It's been surprisingly easy to see in the dark with the full moon, but I am in the trees now, so it's a little trickier, and I'm avoiding turning my headlamp on because my night vision's pretty good right now. So it was kind of a fun weird challenge. Although I'm really not sure I'm on the trail now. Well, all right, I'm gonna have to turn my headlamp on because I'm lost in the dark, despite my just saying everything was going great. Let's see. Oh, there's the trail right there. I wish the camera could see what I see. This has almost been all night vision, nearly a full moon, and it's like walking on the moon. Everything's just bathed in this white light. I can see the trail pretty well. I've only had to use my headlamp a couple times. And yet the camera picks up nothing. Well, I'm 2 miles from the car, and my knee, my left knee, the one that always complains, is starting to complain. So I took some ibuprofen. Hopefully that'll help. Although I always kind of like to note, like, how many miles did I do before that happened? So I went to the 7 miles, and back to 2, so 7 plus 5, 12 miles. 12 miles and my left knee starts to complain. And that sounds right. That's consistent with previous hikes. I've noticed when I do like 15-mile hikes, I usually end with a bad knee. It doesn't always happen though. So yeah, I've gone longer than 12 without a problem. Well, anyway, worth noting. Getting close. This is the end. There's the hiker box. Well, I might as well get a pack weight because I'm probably gonna have to steal out of my backpack tonight. Well, it's 1 in the morning. I made it to the truck. It took 3 hours. And the situation back at home is less dire for me to get back. So we've all decided to get some sleep. And so I'm sleeping in the truck tonight, which is not great. I don't fit in here real well. I'm a little longer than the back seat is. So anyway, good night. I don't know if I can pick up any of that sunrise behind me, but the colors are really pretty. Trip's cut short, heading home. We'll be home in probably an hour. Still had a good time. I just would have liked to have tried the underquilt. So that's all right. That's all right. There's more important things. All right, until the next adventure. See ya.